This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, now the World Cup's underway. Everyone will be tuning into SBS for the broadcast of this World Cup, which is absolutely outstanding. Richard Bayliss is part of the team there, and he joins us now. G'day, Richard.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, Richard. Must be great to be all over something that has no controversy attached to it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what controversy? It's all about the football, right? That's what FIFA say.
Oh, that's what they're saying, yeah.
About the game and also not having a drink.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, a sports stadium, let's just talk about that quickly. An entire sports stadium and that one person's drinking a beer, that doesn't seem right.
I don't think it's ever happened.
You know what's weird is that, I mean, it's such an Australian thing as well. We just expect the beers to be there at all times. In the UK, in the Premier League,
Yep.
that's actually what happens as well. You can get a beer, but only outside. You can't be inside the
Are you
stadium with
joking?
the beer. So, no, it goes back to, obviously fan trouble of decades and decades ago. It's
Yep.
just a thing. But I think people are used to it there. It's more, I think, the issue here is the fact that 2 days out after assurances were made, oh, no, you can get beers, don't worry about it, the decision is reversed. And that's, I think, where people are really up in arms. Plus, of course, many of us just like a beer as well.
I tell you
that's
what,
a really
though,
good
and
point.
these are people, everyone knew going there that this was going to be the situation. I think that maybe they thought they were getting faked out or whatever, but it's like when you RSVP to a wedding and then discover it's a dry wedding. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Well, I wouldn't be friends with those people, I don't think.
Hey, Richard, we've seen the action kick off in the last couple of nights. Obviously, the opening game between Qatar and Ecuador. But then last night, we've got a lot of English, obviously, all around Australia. They would have been up watching that demolition of Iran.
Yeah, they would have been, and they'll be a little bit more vocal today as well, because strangely, I mean, England always go into the tournament thinking they're going to win it. They're
Yep.
thinking it's coming home ad nauseum. But, the expectations have been a little bit lower going into this tournament, but they were unreal. They were really, really good against Iran. 6-2 winners. That's an obscene scoreline, and really they shouldn't have conceded the two they did. So, they've got amazing players. We know how big the Premier League is, how quality it is, but actually they showed it on the international stage in a way that they don't often do, England, despite the fact they made the semis last time. So all of a sudden you have to put them amongst the favourites, which for our English mates out there, they'll be a little bit annoying, I would say, over the next couple of days. But you know what? They've earned it because the team were very, very good.
Yeah, the other games that featured, obviously Wales coming back just in the last couple of minutes to be able to get the penalty to draw the US. But I always love watching the Netherlands playing. Everybody dressed in orange. They play with a bit of flair. They always get the job done. And I know it took a while against Senegal, but they'd have to be one of the teams that are always going to make that, quarterfinals, semi-finals.
Yeah, a little bit unheralded as well. They've come into this tournament. I mean, they've made the final 3 times without winning it. They are a chance of being, if anyone's going to win it for the first time, it's probably going to be them. And it took them a while, 2 late goals in the last 6 or 7 minutes. And they've got a great story too, because Louis van Gaal, their manager, who's now unbeaten in 16 games, he's really sick. He's been in a wheelchair on the pitch side on occasions. He's got a cancer. It's an aggressive cancer, and he's been around for a long, long time. And it's one of these stories. And in football and sport, we always know there is a story.
Yep.
And maybe the story is him and the Dutch and finally winning a World Cup with a manager who's sick. So keep an eye out for that one. But they were very good in the 2-0 against Senegal.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
So what time's these games happening live? What's the first one here for Australia time?
So 9 p.m. Eastern at Sydney time, so not too bad. And if you've got a real football problem, which many of us do, you can push through 9 p.m., midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. You need to pick your battles. Of course, the Socceroos tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Sydney time. So, maybe you sleep early, you get up later. But the beauty of SBS is, and these days, of course, is you can watch games on demand as you like.
Hey, so when maybe not this World Cup, but when there is a game happening and it's like 2 a.m. or whatever, are you up? And when you're up, are you like, do you have snacks? What happens? Or you just have breakfast? Like, how do you start your day in that? Because it's a weird way to start a day.
2 in the morning.
Oh, look, it is so tricky. This is the first time SBS's studio hasn't been within the host country for quite a while, going back to probably Japan, Korea, 2002. So for us, we're actually in the Sydney studio, so we're waking up at 4 or 5 p.m. and pushing through all overnight. And to answer your question, basically we are eating the worst food possible. I'm trying to get out of the habit already.
Yeah.
It's sugar, it's caffeine, like you name it, it's just comfort food to get you through. You do what you got to do to get through, I think.
Oh,
I think
body on the
pizza.
line
You
there,
need some
Richard.
pizza there.
Oh, you have to.
Have you been honing into some pizza? Give us the worst thing you've eaten.
I think, well, it's not that bad, but just snakes, just Oh,
Snakes.
Snakes.
right?
Yeah, you were like an athlete on this, like the emergency.
Just a
snakes.
bag of snakes alive. Is that what you've been holding it?
Well, give it time. We're 2 days into a tournament which goes for over a month. Like, I think by the end of it will be an absolute shell, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. Now, getting back to the game tonight, Richard, well, tomorrow morning we'll be able to see, which is Australia in action against France. I mean, how hard is that first up? I don't see that we're any chance, and I can't see with this lineup that we've got of us progressing outside of this round robin phase. I've heard the opposite from other people who say that the youthful and inexperience might be a thing that will be able to get us through.
Yeah, you know what? That's some of the most balanced analysis I've heard going into this. And I think it's understandable. We get to a World Cup, we get excited, we remember that we're Australians on the world stage, we should do really well at sport.
Yeah.
At football over the past couple of years, we're in a transitional phase. This is arguably the biggest challenge we've had going into a World Cup in this run of 5 straight appearances, because our team is inexperienced. 17 of the 26 haven't been there before. And you can say that's an advantage. We're playing the world champions in France, and they've got 6 or 7 players out injured, but the players they do have still phenomenal. Their second strength 11 could probably still win a World Cup. So for us, this is in essence a free swing. No one will expect anything of us outside of ourselves potentially. We need to go there, not get hammered, and take a little bit of momentum in the performance into Tunisia and Denmark, because against France, realistically, if they turn it on, we will struggle big time. You just have to hope they don't turn up, which is possible because that's what France, on occasion do. But yeah, let's be real. This is a huge challenge tomorrow morning. If we can get anything from it, it'll be, let's not say miracle, let's not go into that territory, but it would be an unbelievable result for us.
Yeah, it would be.
Hey, Richard, I just want to get your opinion on one last thing, and that is on the One Love armband, right? And we know that England captain Harry Kane, he was going to be wearing it, and then at the last thing, FIFA said it's not official kit, and you're going to get yellow carded. Some people are saying that it would have been such a demonstration of respect towards the movement if he was to wear it and just get a yellow card straight away and then take it off as a sign of we're not backing down. What would you have done?
I agree with that sentiment. I think, for the 7 nations to turn around and agree, we don't want to risk sporting sanctions here. We're happy to pay a fine, but we don't want to get a yellow card. I think seeing a player get a yellow card, stand defiant to a FIFA who don't want those messages to be said would have been extremely powerful. And even if a player gets sent off, who cares? Honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, some of the bigger, broader messages that need to be got across by whether it's players, teams, whatever, is more important at the end of the day. So it's really disappointing, and I know for a lot of people around the world, the LGBTQ plus community, I think probably will feel a little bit abandoned. And actually, in addition to that, Belgium's away kit has sort of a rainbow motif in it and has the word love. FIFA have asked them or demanded that they not wear that kit or remove the word love from it. I mean, that is just...
Remove the word love. Isn't that disgusting? I cannot believe, Richard, that this is where they're holding a World Cup. It is unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, the beauty of being a footballer with such a platform like Harry Kane, millions and millions of followers, is that you make a statement and you draw or you shine a spotlight on an issue, and you do actually bring people together and make everybody feel a part of it, whereas this divisive kind of approach is obviously having the opposite effect, and it's just really disappointing for so many people.
Yeah, well, it just shows in the future, though, FIFA will be thinking twice because this has been so much backlash along the journey. Anyway, that said, we look forward, Richard, to seeing so much more coverage on SBS. You're doing a fine job. I hope you're able to get through these next 5 or so weeks, 6 weeks of action, just eating snakes and eating pizza and getting through with mad coffee. So we really appreciate your time.
That's it, boys. All the best. Enjoy it. We'll speak soon.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Over to the World Cup in Qatar to kick things off, and England began their campaign. There'll be so many West Aussies with English backgrounds watched this game this morning.
Yeah.
And England absolutely thrashed them, which was good news. But the game started interesting because there was a lot of political statements made between England and Iran, and obviously the England captain wanted to wear the rainbow armband because as the captain gets to wear One Love, and that was hosed down by FIFA, who said if you wear that then you'll get a yellow card, and that could cost you playing in further games. So they decided to take the knee at the start of the game, which is it ends up being a good thing because the whole team does it, and the world audience gets to see that in the first place.
Some people are saying that the English captain could have still done it and just had a yellow card and then made a statement that way. But, I mean, like, they're not even allowing journalists in there with a rainbow on their shirt. Like, I swear, over there, if the rainbow appears in the sky, do they shoot it with
shoot
guns?
It down, mate. Shoot it down. Yeah.
Stop going up our sky!
Absolutely. Now, the Iranians themselves, they didn't sing the national anthem because they were protesting against their own government about, the way they treat people in their neck of the woods. So, a couple of statements to start things off. But at the end of the day, hopefully, moving forward, then FIFA will know that they cannot go down this track again because
Why did they do it?
Because they got the money and the backhander, and that's the only reason they did it. No.
You guys talked about it yesterday. Budweiser. Was it Heineken? Yeah.
Budweiser.
Yeah, Budweiser.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us serve booze at the stadium.
The whole warehouse full of Terps, and it wasn't able to get used, even though they'd signed a contract with FIFA.
It's just a litany of things that are not conducive to holding this event.
Yeah.
And yet they chose to do
society.
it. I know the guy who used to be in charge, who made the decision to have the World Cup in Qatar, he actually said it was a mistake now. But it's like, you would have known it was a mistake back then.
Yeah, well, they would have, but, money speaks all volumes.
But wouldn't everyone else have had their hands up as well? And
yeah, there was a lot of people, and I would have thought there would have been a lot of other countries who were prepared to play the brown paper bag game, but obviously the Qatarians were able to do that in a successful manner.
Well, anyway.
Maybe the gold bullion that they offered as well. I don't know. But anyway, the World Cup's off to a really good start in that manner. For Australia, though, we play France tomorrow morning, early our time. We always get the tough draws straight up, but playing France is going to be difficult. But our coach, Graham Arnold, he relied on an old chestnut who got Australia going in 2005, and that's Aussie Gus Hiddink, who Australia just got right behind. He took over our team just before we started our campaign in Germany. And we got right through to the knockout stage and probably could have gone a bit further if it wasn't for a bit of a shonky red card that was given. But Graham Arnold's saying with the help of Gus, he thinks he's got his head in the game.
I spoke to him only 4 days ago. He's been an incredible mentor for me since 2005. What I learned off Gus in 1 year would have taken me probably 10 years to learn on my own.
There you go.
Then again, you know what? What are our chances of beating France?
Everybody's saying we are absolutely zero. We're absolutely zero. We're less than zero. That's what they're saying.
So do you reckon that maybe we get one of our team into their kit and just spray them with multicoloured rainbow colours?
Well, the French would be all about that because they're certainly a one-love country like us.
Oh, no, I get that. But like, you can take an armband off, but if your kit's all been sprayed like a rainbow, then you've got to play in it.
The locals are coming for you.
Everyone's getting a yellow card pretty quickly. Red card off.
Oh, the other thing would work, Nathan, if we did put a couple of guys in the blue shirts and they went out there and played for France and let a few goals in.
Yeah.
Just fell over at the wrong time, which we see in soccer quite often if the money's right.
Anyway,
it's going to be a big night for Australian sport. We'll see how we turn. It all works out. We're going to catch up still, though, a bit later on and dissect it with Richard Bayless. He's covering the action for SBS.
Nice one.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.